Hello everybody, I am Zachary Woods. I am an aspiring author, and today I would like to talk about haikus. A haiku is a type of poem that originated in Japan. Now, traditional haikus usually talk about nature and animals and seasons and things like that. So one unique thing about a haiku is that the way they structure their poems. See, a haiku has 3 lines, and each line has to have a certain amount of mara, which I guess is similar to syllables in a way. So they have to have a certain amount of syllables in each line. So the first line would have 5 syllables. The second line would have 7 syllables, and the third line would also have 5 syllables. So there are 2 other things in a haiku that we will talk about today, and one of them is a kigo, and the other is a karaji. The first one we will talk about is a kigo. Now, a kigo is just a reference to the season that the poem is taking place in. And there are multiple ways to reference the season that takes place in or is referring to. You can say autumn to directly talk about autumn. You can just directly say the name of the season. Or you can say something like snowfall to reference winter. Or you can say snowfall in spring to confuse the viewer of the poem, although I'm not exactly sure if I would recommend that. But there are multiple ways you can reference the season that the poem takes place in. However, you need to make it clear enough to where the viewer of the poem can understand what season it is. So you don't have to directly say the season, but you have to make it clear enough for the reader of the poem to understand. The next one is a karaji, which when I was doing research on haikus, I had a tough time figuring out what a karaji was. But now that I watched a video on it, I think I understand what it means. So I'm going to explain it the best way I can. A karaji is a cutting word, they call it, that haikus use when they are transitioning to something that doesn't directly connect to the previous line. However, English doesn't exactly have their own variant of a karaji. So for English haikus, we use things like punctuations, which can be from dashes to semicolons and pretty much anything. And that is pretty much all for this video. Now, there is definitely a lot to haikus that I definitely don't know about yet, but for now, that is this video. I will probably continue off of this video another time and maybe make a video on how to make a haiku. But for now, this is the end. If you don't know, I am making a book. I have a video talking about more about that. It's coming November 7th. And hope to see you soon in another video. Goodbye.